Okay, everyone, we're going to learn to cancel before multiplying fractions. It's called the cross-eyed method. Now, I know many of you find it hard to reduce once you've figured out your final answer in multiplication. Well, here's a quick way to make it easier. And we all want to make it easier, don't we? So, why do we use the cross-eyed method? Well, it makes multiplying fractions easier. The cross-eyed method is really called canceling or cross-reducing. And the cross-eyed method is kind of a fun way to help you remember how it works. So how do we do it? Well, before multiplying two fractions, we find the numerator of one fraction and the denominator of the other, cross-eyes. Check to see if they have a common factor. All that means is, can they be divided by the same number? If they do, or can be divided by the same number, divide both by that common factor. The answer you get becomes your new numerator and denominator. Now, let's look at example 1. Example 1 is 3/4 times 5/9. So if I look at these two numbers and I look at the cross eyes, let's see, I'm going to circle a cross eyes. 3 and 9 are cross eyes. Well, 3 and 9 have a common factor of 3. I can divide them both by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So those are my new numerator and denominator. Now I simply go 1 times 3, whoops, let me undo that. 1 times 5 on the top, and 4 times 3 on the bottom. 1 times 5 is 5. 4 times 3 is 12. And looking at that, I know that's in lowest terms. There's my final answer. Make sure you copy everything down that I did. Now, sometimes the cross-eyed numerator and denominator are the same number. This means that both numbers cancel to 1. So let's look at example number 2. I start with 1/6, whoops, 1/6 times 6/7. I'm going to look at my cross eyes. So let's circle my cross eyes. I see I've got these cross eyes are the same. Well, they can cancel to 1 and 1 because both can be divided by 6. So a simple way to remember this is if they're the same, they become a 1. So now I've got 1 times 1 on the top and 1 times 7 on the bottom. Well, 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 7 is 7. And we know when we have a 1, we're done. That's in lowest terms. Make sure you copy everything that I've written. Well, let's look at example number 3. Example number 3, sometimes both the cross eyes can be canceled. So let's look at that problem. We've got 4/5 times 5/8. So if I look at my crosses, okay, I've got this cross that I can divide, and I've got this cross that I can divide. So the 5 and the 5 cross to a 1 and a 1. And the 4 and the 8 can be divided by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 8 is 2. So on the top, I've got 1 times 1. And on the bottom, I've got 1 times 2. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. That's in lowest terms. Make sure you've copied everything I've written. Now, finally, some pairs of fractions can't be canceled. We just multiply as the problem is written. When we cancel, the numbers get smaller and are easier to work with. You're actually reducing the answer to the lowest term before you multiply. So this is really an easier way to reduce. It's easier to work with smaller numbers than larger numbers. So looking at this last example, you can see, or you will see, that there's nothing that you can cross cancel. So if I go 4 fifths times 2 ninths. Well, I look at my 5 and my 2, because they're cross eyes, and there's nothing I can divide them by. Look at my 4 and my 9, cross eyes, there's nothing I can divide them by. So I multiply across and I get 8 on the top and 45 on the bottom. And we know that's in lowest terms. Pretty simple. Now we're going to do some practice in class. Ready? Here we go.